Alrighty, hello everyone. Before bringing my guest in, I kind of wanted to briefly explain the purpose of this interview and what I'm hoping to explore through this conversation. This interview is part of a larger podcast project focused on real experiences during early adulthood, particularly the transitioning from college into the workforce, rather than focusing on a polished success story or advice from a distance. This interview centers around a current lived experience. The job search after graduation is often discussed in very simplified terms. We hear about applying consistently, staying positive, and trusting the process. What's less, what's less visible are the emotional and psychological parts of this experience, especially when the process takes longer than expected. This interview is intended to explore that less discussed side of the transition. The goal of this conversation is not to diagnose problems or offer universal solutions, but to document what this stage can actually feel like while it's happening. This includes uncertainty, motivation, self doubt, and the pressure that many recent graduates feel to appear competent and successful, even when they're still figuring it out. The guest for this interview is a recent college graduate who is currently navigating the job search process. Throughout the interview, we'll discuss her academic background, expectations after graduation, and how her experience has compared to what she anticipated. We'll also talk about the realities of applying for jobs, the emotional impact of rejection or lack of responses, and what has helped her continue moving forward during this period. This interview is designed to create a space for honesty and reflection. By focusing on a real, ongoing experience, the conversation aims to provide insight for others who may be going through a similar position, as well as a perspective for those who may not have recently gone through this transition. With that context, I'll now bring my guest into the conversation. Hmm. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Figuring It Out podcast. Today, I'm going to be talking with my sister, who's a recent college graduate and is currently in the middle of the job search process. We're having a really honest conversation about what it's actually been like to graduate, apply to jobs, and deal with the uncertainty that comes with not landing something right away. This isn't about giving perfect advice, it's about sharing a real experience that a lot of people don't talk about openly. So let's start. Can you introduce yourself and what you studied in college?
Hi, my name's Avery Carr. I studied psychology as my major during my bachelor's with a minor in sociology. And then I went on to get my master's in sport performance and leadership at McKendree University.
Awesome.
hmm
And then when you graduated, what did you think the next few months would look like for you?
I thought that it would consist of me finding a job and then landing a job and hopefully starting on a career path of some sort.
When did you start applying for jobs? What did that process look like at first?
Well, that process was a little complicated because I didn't know where I was going to be living at the time. I had an option to move to San Antonio, which is where I'm located now. I had an option to move back home to my family's hometown. I had the option to stay in the city that I was attending university in. I could have moved somewhere completely different. So it was a lot of searching in a bunch of different areas and trying to figure out what my options are in those areas.
That makes sense. At least you had a lot of options.
Mhm.
What would you say the hardest part of a job searching that no one really warned you about has been?
Probably not hearing back from a lot of places. I would say that since I first started applying to jobs in May of 2024 all the way up until recently, I have heard no's from maybe a total of 5 out of the 30 to 50 jobs that I've applied to. Um, I didn't really expect to just simply not hear back as often as I do, or for the process to be as difficult as it is.
Yeah. And how does it feel emotionally to keep applying and just not hearing back from anybody at all?
It's tough. it will definitely take a toll on you, and it kind of beats you down and gives you a little bit of a feeling of defeat. However, I started to feel like that this past November. I'd been really going hard at applying to jobs. I was trying to apply to at least 5 or 10 a week, and I was doing that up from around September about until the end of November and had no success, no luck. And so I just decided to take a break throughout the holidays and kind of refresh and allow myself to practice patience and whatnot. So,
Would you say anything about this process has surprised you?
mm, I guess it's a lot more difficult than I thought it would be. I thought that it would, when I was initially applying to jobs when I was fresh out of my master's degree, and even while I was still in my master's degree, I thought that I would be getting a lot of more opportunities than I am, a lot more interviews, a lot of people calling me back or hearing back from jobs I'm applying to. But I would say that's probably what surprised me most is kind of to my point earlier, just the lack of communication from employers.
Yeah, that's hard. And then in the pressure and identity field, do you feel pressure from yourself or others to have it figured out by now?
I would say so, yeah. I would say more from others rather than myself. I am only 24 years old and I already have a master's degree, and I received a lot of scholarships throughout my schooling, and I feel that I have accomplished a lot for my age. I feel that I'm in a city where I have a very small network. Moving here, I had no network whatsoever, so the position where I'm at right now, I am able to kind of build my network in this city and in this area, and hope that just relying on that will eventually land me in the place where I need to be someday.
Makes sense. And then has this experience affected your motivation to keep applying places since you just keep getting knocked down?
At times, but all in all, I would say no. I refuse to be stuck in the position that I'm in now forever. It's not what I wanna do. I feel that I have a passion for my field of study, if you will, and using all of my knowledge that I gained from university in order to make a real world impact. Where at the job I'm at now, I can make an impact in my small community. However, I would like to take that impact that I'm able to make and kind of grow it into a larger community, I guess, so.
Oh, well, that's good. You don't want no motivation going forward, but you also don't want to stay in the same place. And then reflection kind of back on your college years, what happened right after graduation, during graduation. Looking back, would you say there's anything that you wish colleges talked about more honestly when it comes to life after graduation while you were still in school, whether that was doing your undergraduate degree or your master's program?
Um, I feel that my bachelor's program, specifically in the field of psychology, kind of prepared me at my university at least. I had a really great professors in my program during my undergrad that prepared me for the struggles of finding a job with the degree of a degree in psychology alone. It's very difficult. There's not too many opportunities out there for psychology bachelor students, and there's not very many high paying ones either. So a lot of people who are in my field and graduated with their bachelors in psychology are kind of in the same boat as me where they are just, making money. But I do have a lot of I have more critiques when it comes to my master's degree because I feel that my master's degree did not set me up for nearly as much success as it should have. It was a first year program, so obviously there are some kinks that need to be worked out within the program, and there are things that a lot of the professors couldn't prepare for and the curriculum that they're teaching. Um, I feel that with a longer program, because I only did a year and a half, with a longer program and with a mandatory internship, if you will, it would be a lot more beneficial to me to help me in finding a job in that field, within the field of performance psychology and leadership, so
Very nice. And then, just for some advice for other people that are still in the same situation as you, what would you say to someone who just graduated and feels like they're already behind?
you're not. I mean, you're not, like, everyone moves at their own pace, everyone lives their life at their own pace. I think it's important to focus on what makes you happy and doing things that you love, and once you start getting down on yourself and start criticizing your own progress, that's when I feel a lot of people lose motivation and a lot of people feel that they're just going to be stuck in the spot that they're in right now forever. But if you just keep moving forward and you keep your head up, and at the end of the day, it's a job, you know, you're just working to make money. So,
That's great advice for people our age, people who just graduated college. And then, if employers were to be listening, what do you wish they understood about the recent grads right now?
experience, experience isn't everything. I feel that one of the struggles when it comes to applying for jobs for me, especially having that higher level degree, is a lot of people will say on their qualifications for employment is, "Okay, you have to have a master's degree in so and so fields," and I'll be like, "Okay, check that box," but then it's like, you need 4 years of experience. You need 2 years of experience. You need 6 years of experience, and how am I supposed to get any experience when I just graduated? I feel like that's kind of something that I haven't really understood how to work around. I haven't really understood how to I mean, I can argue that I have experience through my degree in certain topics and in certain fields and through past life experiences and past jobs that I've had. However, it makes it a little more difficult.
That makes sense. Well, do you have any closing words or any other advice you would like to say?
You've got this, and just keep trying and you'll get to where you need to be someday.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much, Avery, for talking with me and sharing this experience and what it's been like for you. I really do appreciate your honesty, and that's something this podcast is all about, these hard conversations. But I think that this is a conversation that a lot of people listening to this podcast is going to want to hear and can probably benefit from it. So thank you so much for your time today.
You're very welcome. Thank you so much for your time today.
Alrighty, well, goodbye.
Bye.